Well, match week 30 in the Premier League sees a massive clash at Old Trafford with the Champions League spot at stake. It is third place Manchester United taking on Aston Villa in fourth, with only goal difference separating the two teams. And after Chelsea dropped all 3 points against Newcastle, there is an opportunity for either club to pull clear away from Chelsea. That would be a 6 point gap if either one of these two teams win here today. Just shows you it is a 6 pointer and then some. With the title all but decided, it's the Champions League spot now being fought between Aston Villa, Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool. 3 spots up for grab and only one team is going to miss out on it. Could it be Chelsea? Could it be Aston Villa, who've been on a real wobble under Unai Emery towards the last couple of months? There's an opportunity to bounce back here after back-to-back defeats for Unai Emery's men. A 0-0 draw, a 2-0 defeat to Wolves, and then that 4-1 heavy defeat to Chelsea at Villa Park. United, their first defeat under Michael Carrick happened nearly 11 days ago, and that was against 10-men Newcastle at home for St. James's Park, that is. And there is an opportunity for United to bounce back. With both teams on the back of a defeat, looking to bounce back and get the 3 points, which would give them that impetus, that bit of clearance away from Chelsea. Last time I did see these two teams in action was in the Premier League, in the reverse fixture where Morgan Rogers scored two outstanding goals, almost similar in terms of execution and type of finish against Manchester United on that occasion. Is it going to be a similar scoreline? Can Aston Villa arrest this decline, or will Manchester United continue their great run under Michael Carrick? They have been unbeaten at Manchester United at home, and it looks good for top four. We're off and running at Old Trafford. He has Manchester United having a lengthy break after their defeat against Newcastle. Being knocked out of all cups has certainly helped United in terms of keeping freshness for the Premier League fixtures. We're off and running at For Unai Emery, the same cannot be said. A 48-hour turnaround after going to Lille, winning 1-0 away. Ollie Watkins scoring the winner on that occasion. He starts today with 8 Premier League goals to his name. Rogers and Watkins both on 8 goals. Buendia on 5. All three are on the pitch here alongside James McGinn. McGinn didn't feature against Chelsea. I think Unai Emery is almost eyeing this fixture instead, knowing the importance of it, having lost to Chelsea. If Villa lose today, it could be really hectic for them. They could be one of the teams that could drop out, and considering that they were one of the dark horses, underdogs, an outside shout for a title, maybe Jan or even Feb, it really has quickly disappeared. Manchester United, the big call there by Michael Carrick to leave out Benjamin Šeško, who's been on fire under the new boss, but mostly off the bench, so he remains on the bench and can definitely be an option of it. Ahmad will be on the right, and Mbeumo will be the centre forward. He's got a lot of practice of it as Cunha looks to find Bruno Fernandes. Almost Dalot getting on the right-hand side. For United, 9 goals for Bryan Mbeumo, 8 for Benjamin Šeško, 7 for Bruno Fernandes, 6 each for Cunha and Casemiro. It showcases that they are spreading the goals around. No one really yet to crack double figures in the Premier League yet. For Aston Villa, midfield pairing of Amadou Onana and Ross Barkley is certainly an interesting choice by Unai Emery, considering Douglas Luiz is on the bench. Then to go with Ross Barkley in a midfield pivot is certainly a brave call. Now, does he go with McGinn in the midfield and make it a midfield 3 and possibly have the width offered by Rogers? I'm not sure. There are opportunities certainly, and it'll be very interesting to see how Aston Villa do approach this game. Now, United love space in behind, right? So do Villa play into United's hand, trying to go man-to-man, press high up the pitch, or do they just drop deep and ask United to try and break them down? United generally at home, they get off to fast starts if they can. Especially at home. They get the victory, they get that early goal, and even if they're trailing, something seems to be favouring in their man. I mean, the number of times they're playing against 10 men has been scandalous under Michael Carrick already. Was that Crystal Palace, Newcastle, was that West Ham as well? They picked up a red card. It's been far too many. That's got to stop. Aston Villa better buck the trend here as Luke Shaw goes on the outside. Good carry here from the England left back. Delegates duty. The first time ball in is brilliant by Cunha. Villa do manage to clear their courtesy of Amadou Onana. Bogard, the interesting choice there by Unai Emery to start the Frenchman at right back. Naturally a midfielder. We saw him against Chelsea coming off the bench and filling in at right back. Lenny Yoro with the clearance. Starting ahead of Aiden Heaven. Heaven, I thought, was just starting to gain a bit of prominence under Ruben Amorim, playing as one of the centre backs in a back three. But now that Michael Carrick is playing in a 4, Lenny Yoro is certainly a better choice because Yoro is more of an outside defender, a wide centre back, rather than being in the centre because of his recovery pace. Oh, that's certainly a foul there, ref. That's possibly a yellow card as well. Early foul, so he'll possibly get away with it. Luke Shaw just dragged out of position. Aston Villa would love the opening goal, but when they did play against Chelsea, they got it in the second minute, courtesy of Douglas Luiz. But from there, it's pretty much all Chelsea. Ollie Watkins had a real off night there. He will definitely need to step up here as Ross Barkley nearly pounces on the loose ball. United will get the foul in their favour, though. Harry Maguire gets clattered. John McGinn, the Aston Villa skipper, generally likes to play on the right-hand side, doesn't he? And then cut in and either float the ball into the box or try and shoot. I think he'll be playing in midfield today, just more of a reserve position. Villa do have a decent bench. Tammy Abraham is there if Ollie Watkins is having yet another off night. Douglas Luiz, Leon Bailey, pace, experience. It's a decent mix there. As for United, they've got Mason Mount, Benjamin Šeško and Joshua Zirkzee as their senior players who can come off the bench in terms of a real impact player. Manu Lugata is there in terms of insurance if Manchester United need to try and close the game out. Lenny Yoro's crossfield pass is well intercepted. Bogard. But that's the interesting thing with Bogard, right? Because he's a natural midfielder from right back, he would be very much inclined in terms of inverting into midfield. Harry Maguire wins the ball and then strides forward. Looks for the clever pass with the reverse. Had a bit of fade on it. Bruno Fernandes presses from the front. 14 Premier League assists for the Manchester United skipper. After a lot of talk last summer about whether or not he would stay or would he take the Saudi offer. That question will be asked again this summer, that's for sure. Fernandes isn't getting any younger. His production still is at a very high level. Here's Ross Barkley. Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings as the two centre-halves as Ollie Watkins looks to peel away. That's the interesting dynamic with Morgan Rogers on that left-hand side. That's something that Manchester United will have to keep a close watch on. Likes to drift in, cut in and shoot. Some of the bangers that he has scored this season from distance have been really special to watch. He's definitely going on the plane for the World Cup, Morgan Rogers. Is he ahead of Cole Palmer in the pecking order? On form, I would probably suggest it. I mean, Palmer is the better player, but this season, Palmer isn't the Palmer of old, while Morgan Rogers' stock is certainly rising. Jude Bellingham is obviously a really good number 10 as well, so Thomas Tuchel will have that decision to make in the summer, that's for sure. Not even mention the likes of Phil Foden or someone like that. That's the kind of depth that England have in that position. Tyrone Mings comes across, makes the interception, finds Luka Dean. Preferred ahead of Ian Matson. Emi Martinez, who had that crazy moment last season in the final game of the season where he got a red card for, I think he clattered Rasmus Højlund, if I'm not mistaken. Way out of the goal. It was a rugby challenge. He got a straight red card. Manchester United win the game and get to the 40-point mark. A lot has happened since then. United very much on the up and up. You wouldn't have thought that, considering how United's season was going under Ruben Amorim. I mean, there were a few positives, and you could see from the data, not the eye test maybe, but United was certainly on the upward trajectory. But under Ruben Amorim, they just couldn't put together wins, man. Ball into the box there by Luka Dean towards the far stake. It's well defended. Ross Barkley wins the loose ball. Here's Bogard. 8 minutes on the clock here. Ross Barkley, his passing will have to be at his best because that's the attribute. He's there in midfield for his press resistance and his ability to unlock the Manchester United defence from deep. Buendia, of course, the number 10. Allows Morgan Rogers to just operate in the half spaces with Luca Dean on the left-hand side, providing the width. Here's Buendia. Signed a long time ago under Unai Emery, was it? Wouldn't say Unai Emery, much before that. It was 30 million from Norwich. I remember that much. He's been there for a long time. He had injuries, but now he's become a proper number 10 for Aston Villa as Rogers delivers. They get the header away. Amad Diallo manages to clear their lines. Manchester United haven't been at their fluent best so far. Here's Onana. Shrugs off the challenge of Brian Mbeumo. Strong play there from the Belgian. Here's Buendia. That is certainly a foul, ref. I mean, he could have played on. Aston Villa asked the question, but I think they would prefer the set piece, especially from this position. Reckless there from Casemiro. That's his second foul already. And we're not even into the 10th minute. Brazil tackle on Argentina. It's the old cliche, isn't it? I try to avoid cliches in my live stream, but it comes out. Casemiro with the shake of the head. He is some threat in the opposition box. Those 6 Premier League goals for Unk. He's still got it. He's still got it. He's got, what, 2 more months left before he waves goodbye to the Manchester United crowd. 60 million quid for 300 grand a week. It's a hefty investment. Would you say value for money? Probably not. But in terms of culture, and he has delivered some big moments. Scored a lot of goals. His passing still remains at a high level. Yes, his athleticism certainly would be compromised considering his advancing age. Well, 10 minutes on the clock. Morgan Rogers, who had a brace in the corresponding fixture, is eyeing this one up here. It's a short free kick routine. United win it. It's a waste, man. What a waste. Aston Villa just chucked that opportunity away. There are some familiar faces on the Aston Villa bench. Victor Lindelof, one of them. Lindelof survived, 8 years as a United player? How the hell did he manage that? I mean, good player, but 8 years at United, I mean, pretty much sums up. He's a decent, tidy defender, and to Unai Emery's credit, did manage to extract a bit of Victor Lindelof when Pau Torres, especially when Pau Torres was injured. But now with Mings back in, Konza has been a permanent fixture at right centre-back. Villa's defence looking a lot more solid. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. Big game here for Mainoo. He's been off the ball in the last couple of games. Did not feature at all under Ruben Amorim, and now he's playing every game under Michael Carrick. That switch, that shift is quick. I mean, it's just been, 6 or 7 Premier League games? Somewhat in that range. So he's got to be, on it right now. Especially have a very good end to the season. And you never know. May just break into that England midfield. I mean, it's stacked with midfielders as well for England. Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton. A lot of options. Kobbie Mainoo can. And Declan Rice, I forgot to mention the main man in midfield. Here's Onana. Onto the left-hand side for Luca Dean. Onana again. Onana's getting on the ball a lot more. His pass just left it a bit short. Diogo Dalot quickly on the scene. Makes the interception. Him not having any goal-mouth action yet. Both keepers not tested whatsoever so far. It's an intriguing game. Again, a lot at stake. A 6-pointer, as you call it. The swing would be unbelievable for any team. And as a Chelsea fan, I would love it if either one of the team wins. A draw would not be ideal because both teams pick up a point more and then have a 4-point lead over Chelsea. Ideally, if United lose today, it would be ideal, again, because we play United at Stamford Bridge, so we can almost control the destiny in our own hands. That gap remains 3 before they come to Stamford Bridge. Maybe that would be a game changer for us. We're not quite Manchester United level, 1 game a week yet, but we're pretty much out of the Champions League. we might have a decent run into the semi-finals and possibly even the finals in the FA Cup. Other than that, we have no other commitments. Just focus on the premise. Bruno Fernandes shapes the ball in, defended well. Villa look to play out the back. Here's John McGinn. What a pass that is by McGinn. Ollie Watkins is on his bike. Look at the pace of Watkins. Maguire shows decent recovery. Mops up tidily, finds Lenny Yoro. Again, the spine of Manchester United with Lenny Yoro, Kobbie Mainoo, young players, exciting players for Manchester United. Finally getting their recruitment slightly better. I would say their recruitment is very much on the upward trajectory, and if you compare that with Chelsea's, ours is very much on the down. Something that we always hammered Manchester United for. Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha have been helpful additions to say the very least. 15 Premier League goals between the two of them. Here's Luke Shaw. Finds Cunha. This is going to be an interesting dynamic. Manchester United's left-hand side, right? Because Luke Shaw does not have the engine of Luke Shaw of old. He cannot be up and down the touchline on that left-hand side. And Matheus Cunha isn't a natural winger. So who's going to really stretch the pitch on that left-hand side for Manchester United? That'll be interesting to see. Whether or not they do that at all. Or maybe does Bryan Mbeumo shift it onto the left-hand side and add a bit more natural width with Benjamin Šeško up top in the second half, that is. But in the first half, this is what a puzzle that Manchester United find themselves in. Width on the outside, especially with that big Old Trafford pitch, is absolutely critical. Bryan Mbeumo has been pretty much first choice striker under Michael Carrick. Benjamin Šeško has started most of the games on the bench. Mbeumo is the top scorer, but he does have Šeško on his heels. Just the one goal separating the two players. Both summer acquisitions. Settled in decently, I would say. Mbeumo started off very well, just went off the ball. Šeško, exact opposite. Some of Šeško's finishes have been first class, man. The one against West Ham was ridiculous. It was an angled finish. He had to on the turn. Like the one against Everton as well. He was through on goal, showed great pace. And he just slotted it past Pickford. And which else? The Fulham one, the late one, where he hammered it into the top corner in the, 97th minute? Again, I'm just trying to pull these off memory, so apologies if I get them wrong, as Casemiro switches it beautifully for his fellow Brazilian. Here's Cunha. He's up against Bogard. Kobbie Mainoo finds Casemiro again. Casemiro with the attempted chip pass. Manchester United secure possession and territory here. 15 minutes on the clock. 0-0 the scoreline. Not ideal from a Chelsea point of view. The gap between both these teams here would be 4 points as it stands. I'm silently rooting for a Manchester United loss, but either way, we can't be really picking and choosing, considering Chelsea having a nightmare time under Liam Racine, and now 2 wins out of 6. That is Aston Villa form. It's going to be a hectic 8 games to the end. I saw Chelsea's last 6 or 7 fixtures, man. It is giving me heavy anxiety. We got to play United, City, Liverpool at Anfield. There's some nightmare fixtures in there as well in between. Brighton. I mean, that's a potential and easy banana skins considering how Chelsea have been in the league. Nottingham Forest as well. There's no game I'm looking forward to in the league. Chelsea have been so inconsistent. Here's Cunha. Again, doesn't have the burst past Bogard, but his show is great. Burst. What a ball that is. It's cleared away by Luka Dean. Amad Diallo was making the run into the box. What a brilliant cross that is by Matheus Cunha. Shows a bit of pace, creates separation. That left-footed pass. Someone like Benjamin Šeško would have loved that cross into the box. Oh, it's on a plate. For someone like 6'5" Benjamin Šeško, that's food and drink. Hey, hi King. How are you, man? Thanks for joining in the stream. Let me know which team you're supporting so I get to know what's happening here, but I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for tuning in. What do you think the prediction would be? Again, I would love an Aston Villa result here. Highly unlikely considering Aston Villa's form, and United haven't lost at home under Michael Carrick. They've had a couple of scruffy results, but they find ways, man. That's something that Chelsea could really learn in terms of a lesson from Manchester United. Even when you play bad, just make sure you win the game. United very much trying to push up the pitch here. Look at Brian Mbeumo. He's false 9. He's in his own half. Interesting there from the Cameroonian. Here's San Lamens. Luke Shaw almost playing as a third centre half. Nearly pings a perfect pass there to Brian Mbeumo. King, I'm a Chelsea fan. In terms of supporting either club, I said this before on my stream, I need either team to lose today. It's pretty much a hate watch, but it's got to be a loss for either team. Otherwise, Manchester United and Aston Villa both go 4 points clear of Chelsea. And considering Manchester United have to travel to Stamford Bridge, I would love it if Aston Villa win. So there's my answer. But I try to do a professional job on the stream, that's for sure. A bit of bias, but if I see something good, I will call it out. If I see something poor, rest assured I will call it out. Here's Luka Dean. Finds Tyrone Mings. Mings is certainly going on the plane to the US for the World Cup. That left-sided centre-back option for Thomas Tuchel. Ezri Konsa is going to be one of the first choices on that right-hand side. Aston Villa producing a lot of internationals, regulars in big teams. Onana being another one of them. What's up, Aban? I would love to call them out, bro, but I'm not that shameless. I have a bit of self-awareness. If they're poor today, I will, but not just like that. After Chelsea's terrible loss yesterday, I just want Chelsea to somehow stay in it with Bruno Fernandes' strike. Left-footed effort, blocked by the Belgian. Amadou Onana. He's going to have a big game here, especially with Ross Barkley next to him. Barkley, not a natural pivot player. Here's Amad Diallo, finds Lenny Yoro. Oro and Dallo both high up the pitch. What a cross into the box. Well, Manchester United are putting crosses of just first-class quality. No Benjamin Sesko in the side. It makes you wonder why United are playing these crosses, because these are brilliant balls into the box. This would be like a dream for Sesko. He's not on the pitch, though. Well, it's been pretty even 20 minutes on the clock, and I wouldn't say either team have had the better of each other, but United have put, courtesy of Cunha and now Dallo, have put two unbelievable balls into the box. Brian Mbeumo has been nowhere near it, and Sesko must be screaming that, please, when I come on the pitch, please make sure that those kind of crosses remain. Emi Martinez nor San Lamens have had saves to make. Nearly halfway through the first half. Can United get the kind break as Casemiro puts it into the area? It's a corner for United. Tyrone Mings couldn't really sort his feet out. Casemiro once again in advanced positions, trying to make an impact. Set pieces for Casemiro. This is where he's so dangerous. United have already had 3 corners in the match. Casemiro, 6 Premier League goals for the 33, 34, he was 35-year-old Brazilian, man, but he's ageless, he's timeless, still starts week in, week out. Helps that Manchester United play just 1 game a week. Bruno Fernandes with the corner, it's got depth on it. Maguire the target. United win the second ball. Oh, what a save by Martinez. That was destined for the corner. It was Diallo's header. Emi Martinez pulls out a world-class save, and now Aston Villa on the break. They open United up. Can they play this right, though? Oh, that's a terrible touch by Watkins, and now United on the counter-attack. Here's Bruno Fernandes waiting for support. What a challenge that is by Onana. Incredible sequence of play there. Villa come away with the ball. Here's Luka Dean on the left-hand side. Now there's a buzz about the game. It's come alive for the first time, really, with both sides. Really open, man. Aston Villa played 2 or 3 passes in midfield, and suddenly they were running through the heart of Manchester United. Here's Onana, who made that fantastic challenge on Bruno Fernandes. Here's Luka Dean. Ross Barkley, surveying options, goes backwards to Tyrone Mings. Very English spine for Aston Villa with Mings, Konsa, Watkins. Could even add Morgan Rogers into there. Nice 1-2 on the right-hand side. Here's Matty Cash, finds Ross Barkley. Decent pass. It's not in the stride of Luca Dean, but he recovers well. Morgan Rogers has to take the scenic route. Gets it back from Luca Dean. Goes for the ball into the box. He lets it go. Ooh, could have been very interesting. United do manage to clear though. Brian Mbuemo's 1v1 against Tyrone Mings. Mings does very well. Ooh, United nearly get the lucky break. Thankfully, Aston Villa killed that counter-attack hope. This game has suddenly burst into life. It's been a fun watch. Clipped effort there by John McGinn. Interesting there from the Villa skipper. Good pass there between the lines by Luca Dean. Having a look at the Ross Barkley incident, I mean, it's so needless. It's not enough for a pen. Casemiro's a massive bugger, but what a save that was by Emi Martinez, man. Good header there by Amad Diallo. It was not quite in the corner, but he sees it late for sure. Eyes on the ball, tips it away. Good save from the experienced Argentine. He's got a lot of history with Manchester United, doesn't he? Emi Martinez. Remember Bruno Fernandes skying that penalty? I remember this season where Cristiano Ronaldo was there, because that's why it was such a high-profile miss. It was pretty much in the last minute. United got the pen. They were losing that game, had an opportunity to draw. And if my memory serves me right, Bruno Fernandes took the pen, skied it, and then Emi Martinez with a provocative celebration. Some things you just remember. Here's Lenny Yoro. Goes backwards to San Lamens. Lamens had a pretty comfortable game between the sticks today. Nothing from Ollie Watkins yet. Watkins had a real off night against Chelsea. Had a few opportunities. I would say 3 or 4 decent opportunities to at least get a goal. Thankfully, he had an off night. And considering Philip Jorgensen was in goal, thankfully. Well, 25 minutes on the clock. 0-0 the scoreline. As it stands, both teams will maintain status quo in terms of their league position. United in 3rd, Villa in 4th, separated by goal difference. And later on, Liverpool hosts Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs, if you're ever useful once in your life, please get a result of Liverpool. I do not expect it. I expect Spurs to get battered, considering their soft underbelly and Spurs having a nightmare time under their new manager Igor Tudor. Forget having got going, they cannot buy a win. They are very much in a relegation fight, so a win for them would be useful, not just for them but for us too. Expecting 0 though. Expectation is on the floor with Spurs. That's why you need Aston Villa to possibly just put a spanner in the works here. Here's Lenny Yoro. Finds Dallo. Clever pass there for Brian Mbuemo. The cutback for Amad Diallo. Dallo on his left foot. Thought about the shot. Gets the ball stolen off him. Villa tried to avoid the press. Manchester United all over them. Kobbie Mainoo with great feet. Keeps his balance. Referees play on. Here's Mateus Cunha. Again thought about the shot. Good defending. Ross Barkley makes sure that he gets there. United keep the ball somehow. Brilliant play there by Mbuemo and Cunha. Diallo could have opened for the pass there. Brilliant run there from Brian Mbuemo. United keep the attack going. And I'm very surprised that Diallo did look for the ball around the corner, because you could see Brian Mbuemo just running at full clip. Here's Cunha. Another cross into the box. Villa win the first header. Martinez thought about it. That is very calmly done there by Bogard. Well, Unai Emery, not the best record at Old Trafford. Trying to manage his squad, and considering the mess he has in midfield in terms of Yuri Tielemans and Boubacar Kamara not available. Kamara's pretty much out for the rest of the season. Tielemans might return by the end of the month. That is a huge blow for Aston Villa. It's pretty much their first choice midfield that's been ripped off. Douglas Luiz coming in certainly has added a bit of reinforcement in that area. That's why this is a big call, starting Ross Barkley in this position here. Tyrone Mings finds Martinez. Martinez, interestingly, plays a pass with his left foot. Here's Bogard now in midfield. We talked about how he will invert from right back. Villa yet to have a shot on target. Will look to change that as Buendia in the pocket finds Amadou Onana. Bogard is offering width. Onana instead switches out to the other fullback in Luca Dean. Cross comes in. Well defended. Lenny Yoro comes across. Makes the interception. Villa keep the ball alive. Luca Dean has got a brilliant left foot, doesn't he? In terms of the deliveries he can put into the box. Again, Villa playing in the pockets. United happy to be in their mid-block. Not really retreating on the edge of their box. Making sure that there's enough space between San Lamens and the back line. Almost tempting Villa to play the pass. Here's Dean. Deeney again. And good touches for Aston Villa and the Manchester United half, but nothing really of note in the 30th minute. San Lamens yet to be called into action yet. Ezri Konsa finds the skipper. John McGinn, capable. Instead goes to Bogard on the right-hand side. Villa are being patient. Morgan Rogers on the right-hand side. Interesting position there from Rogers. Expect him to be on the left as San Lamens just boots that out of touch. Good pressure this from Aston Villa. Sustained pressure for the first time in the match. Tyrone Mings goes for the expansive switch. Didn't need to do that, and just like that, the pressure is lifted off. Tyrone Mings, you expect better from a more experienced player. Keep the pressure going. Why would you just give the ball away? I mean, it's admirable that you're going for that big switch out, but just keep it simple. You saw that United were just struggling to keep any sort of touches on the ball, so just keep that going. Interesting decision. 30 minutes on the clock, 0-0 the scoreline. Villa have got the ball in midfield here. Buendia is running in the midfield area. He plays the 1-2, gets it back. Here's the Argentine. It's Emi Buendia. Creates separation. Kobbie Mainoo on the slide does well enough. Amad Diallo can run away with the ball. Attempted Trivela passes. Pretty poor. Hand of apology immediately from the Ivorian. Emi Buendia, again, he's in that pocket. He's in that number 10 position. He has to do better. He really has to do better. Aston Villa's decision in the final third. Yet to really click into gear. He says that was close. There's a chance there for Villa. Half chance, but once again, nothing really materializing from it. Here's Amadou Onana. Attempted reverse pass is pretty poor. And then the scoreline here, and I'll be keeping an eye definitely on that Liverpool-Spurs game. Spurs, I ask again, and I'll keep asking throughout the stream, if there's ever a time to do your beloved neighbours a favour, it would be now. Get something out of Anfield. A draw would be magnificent. Win, impossible, but get us a draw. Liverpool aren't the Liverpool at Anfield under Jurgen Klopp, so it's not like a titanic task. Saw Nottingham Forest absolutely rip them to shred under Sean Dyche. Dyche is not at the club anymore. Vito Pereira, the new manager for Nottingham Forest, trying to keep them in the Premier League next season. That's why, for Spurs' point of view, they are well and truly dragged in the relegation dogfight. That 3-1 loss to Crystal Palace was particularly damaging, and Mickey van der Ven has picked up a red card as well, so he's not going to be available for the game at Anfield. Christian Romero, back from his suspension. I mean, everything that has gone wrong for Igor Tudor. Vicario's saving from distance has been so poor. Kinski gets chucked into a massive round of 16 clash against Atletico Madrid, and he throws 2 goals away. So I said, Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong went wrong for them. Again, Martinez is not that good of a ball-playing goalkeeper to be baiting the press this much. He does manage to get it out, but again, it's inviting needless pressure. United, in terms of making Emi Martinez make big saves was really that Amad Diallo header. Lovely clip ball in for Amad Diallo. I'm not sure how many headers Diallo has scored at his time at Manchester United. Again, a very weird recollection of him scoring a header against AC Milan. That was in the Europa League under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Again, might be wrong, but just these random images, footballing images, just do pop in my head. Here's Menu. Had a decent first half, Kobbie Menu. Nothing really sparkly, but had one moment where he showed great balance and feet. Had a good real interception in his own box. So a couple of decent movements, but in terms of regular impact, yet to really get going. Here's Amad Diallo though. Finds Kobbie Menu. Menu looking to pick the lock. Clever attempted pass, but well intercepted by Luca Dean. Manchester United win the loose ball though. Amad Diallo finds Casemiro. Casemiro forced to go backwards. Instead he plays a nice horizontal pass for Harry Maguire. United defenders making their way forward. Midfielders pushed high up the pitch as Casemiro delivers towards the far stick. Well defended there by Bogart. Switched on there Bogart. He's not a natural right back still. Great understanding and reading of the play, considering that danger at the far stick always paramount. Well, King, I do not encourage that kind of talk, on my chat. Don't wish for injuries, That is the worst thing that could happen to an athlete. Let them lose, drop points, banter is fine. But injuries, long-term injuries, that's just a lack of class, man. Hopefully my chat's never like that. Here's Cunha. Oh, that's a weak clearance. Mbeumo's shot is curious. It was closer to the corner flag than it was to the target. It was actually this close to the corner flag. Amad Diallo does well to recover. Here's Cunha. 10 minutes remaining in this first half. Another brilliant ball into the box. Harry Maguire at the far stick. Makes the run. Stayed in the box. Again, all these crosses into the box. There's two real threats. Okay, fair enough. Lenny Yoro's there as well. Damn, King. An ACL injury last month. Speedy recovery, my friend. Please take care. That sounds like my personal nightmare in terms of any sort of injury. If you're into sports as well, do focus on your rehab. Just get well soon, brother. Martinez trying to build out the back. Bryan Mbeumo, slightly off the boil, does manage to register goals and assists every now and then. I think in terms of that impact that he had when he first burst onto the scenes at Manchester United, he was truly electric at times. Now playing as a false nine, but can't even call it a false nine anymore. That's his position, considering Michael Carrick clearly prefers Mbeumo as the number 9, with Benjamin Šeško as the option off the bench. Mbeumo 60 million, Benjamin Šeško 70 million. These are the striking options for Manchester United. By the way, looking from Chelsea's point of view, we are so fortunate that Joao Pedro fell onto our laps. 50 million is no joke in terms of a price tag, but nobody expected Joao Pedro to be this kind of a baller. If you did, fair play to you. I thought he was going to be a good, tidy player, but he's turned into an elite player at Chelsea. Then that Liam Delap, 30 million, that has gone down the drain for us. You look at United with Mbeumo, and Mbeumo again, not a natural striker. Maybe Manchester United need to dip into the summer window and get another backup striker. They still have Rasmus Højlund on loan. He's at Napoli, and things have not really gone well for Antonio Conte this season as Dalot is through on goal, and he blazes his left-footed effort well over the crossbar. Not the composure that you were expecting, but it falls pretty much to the wrong person here. He bends his run. He's onside by a mile. Decent first touch, but unfortunately for Dalot, it sets up the shot on his left foot instead of his right. And it's a horrible swing from there, but that is Manchester United's best chance in the match by far. Well created as Michael Carrick. He will know that that was the opportunity before half-time. Villa riding their luck a little bit. A magnificent pick out. Oh, that's a terrible giveaway in midfield. Onana immediately with a hand of apology. On the left-hand side, here's Luke Shaw. Kobbie Mainoo finds Lenny Yoro. 7 minutes plus added on time remaining in the first half. Here's Diogo Dalot. At the best opportunity for Manchester United, he drills the cross into the box. Well defended by Tyrone Mings. Morgan Rogers, clever pass. It's risky. John McGinn deals with it expertly. Ollie Watkins can't bring it under control well enough or timely enough before Luke Shaw just came across and made the interception. Here's Casemiro. Both teams heading into this clash on the back of defeats. Manchester United against 10 men Newcastle. Newcastle had a red card in the 45th minute. I mean, United played the entirety of the second half against 10 men Newcastle and couldn't find points. Villa getting absolutely humbled at home against Chelsea, and considering Chelsea's form, that would have been a concerning defeat for Unai Emery's men after being wiped on the floor by Wolves as well. Wolves are one of the teams that you do not want to face, especially at Molineux. Oh, that is very careless there by Casemiro. Rogers with Watkins on his bike. He can isolate Harry Maguire here, but he needs to do it quickly. Here's Ollie Watkins. Good defending by Harry Maguire. He's very strong, but he can't follow up here. Good defending. United just about get away with it and get the goal kick. Luke Shaw with the last-ditch challenge. Aston Villa making inroads down the right-hand side. Luke Shaw doing just about enough. And good defending by Harry Maguire. You can see that he pretty much telegraphed where Ollie Watkins was going to go. But once McGinn gets there, Luke Shaw made sure that he cuts across. 4 players at once. King, are you like Kylian Mbappe in your team? You're not being double teamed, triple teamed, it's quadruple teamed. 5 minutes plus added on time remaining in the first half. United have had 2 decent opportunities. The Diallo header and that Diallo chance on his left foot. Certainly the best match opportunity in the match. Cross pass there by Harry Maguire. Finds Lenny Yoro, but he can't bring that under control. Throw in for Aston Villa. Villa need to test San Lamens in goal once before the half-time whistle, that's for sure. Don't have to show too much ambition. A deep line against Manchester United is fine, considering if United just plan to keep crosses into the box, the longer Benjamin Šeško is on the bench, the better for Aston Villa. Oh, is he onside here? The flag has been raised. Ollie Watkins not getting a chance to put it into the back of the net. It's a yellow card for Ollie Watkins as well. That is needless. I mean, that's zero tolerance there from Anthony Taylor. Let's have a look. I mean, he's not offside by miles. He's offside, definitely offside. But the fact that he booked Ollie Watkins for that is pretty shameful there, Anthony Taylor. Unai Emery looks stressed. Stressed. He's got those lines on his forehead. I mean, it looks like he's not going to sleep in a week. Making the travel from Lille to then now Manchester United at Old Trafford. I mean, it's not a kind fixture. A stretch of fixtures, really. Wolves away, Chelsea at home. Manchester United now away. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes has had a pretty anonymous first half. Not sure whether or not it was his pass for Dalot, but other than that, we haven't really mentioned Bruno's name on the stream here. Here's Harry Maguire. Onto the left-hand side for Luke Shaw. Good pace there, but Kobbie Mainoo tries to split the defense. Well defended there by Tyrone Mings, who comes battling across. Lovely play this from Aston Villa. They play through the Manchester United press very nicely. Here's Ross Barkley. Finds Ollie Watkins. What a challenge by Lenny Yoro. Terrific from the Frenchman. He had to get that spot on and he did. And now it's Manchester United on the counter-attack here. Here's Kobbie Mainoo. Finds Bruno Fernandes. He's got runners. Bruno Fernandes goes for goal and it's well wide. Curious decision there by Bruno Fernandes. Not sure who he's having a go at because he's had a strike when the pass was definitely on. Mainoo did well to drag his team up the pitch there, and Fernandes has to look for a better option. Does he want a corner for this? Does he have a case? Maybe just taking a flick off the shirt of Onana. This was a chance. Again, Lenny Yoro's challenge is very good. Ollie Watkins, again, he just telegraphs where he's going to chop, man. Both Yoro and Harry Maguire have read it very easily. Close again. Aston Villa, few decent opportunities, but yet to test San Lamens in goal. Emi Martinez has certainly been the more busier goalkeeper, but Villa have had some decent moments in this first half. Aston Villa happy to compress the pitch here. Look how high up the pitch the Villa centre halves are here. My goodness me. It is such a risky tactic considering the pace of Brian Mbeumo, Amad Diallo and even Mateus Cunha's ability to drive with the ball. Watkins once again having a half of football where he's not really affected the game. Did score the winner away at Lille. Can he get his shooting boots on as Villa have a free kick? In the Manchester United half, 30 seconds of normal time remains in the first half. 0-0 the scoreline in this highly anticipated clash as McGinn floats this towards the far stick. The header is well defended. It's a corner for Villa. Kobbie Mainoo of all people winning that aerial duel. I mean, that was a mismatch if you've ever seen one. Amadou Onana is like 6'5". He's an absolute monster. And for Kobbie Mainoo to try and get something on it, pretty admirable. The fact that he jumped. Well, Manchester United have had 4 corners. Nearly took advantage of one. Villa, first corner with 45 minutes on the clock. Just a minute of added on time signaled by the 4th official. Not too much in terms of goal mouth action. Corner taken. That is a terrible corner by John McGinn. Easily dealt with. And now Manchester United on the counter-attack. This is where United thrive. Amad Diallo waits for the cavalry to arrive. The cavalry has arrived. Here's Cunha. Oh, terrible pass. He's just fired that at Onana. Nana just intercepts that out of chance more than anything else. Again, that is terrible passing by, this time I think it is Casemiro. I think he's tried that twice. Hand of apology there by Casemiro as Luke Shaw fades that into the channel. Well defended by Aston Villa. Buendia and Ross Barkley play it out nicely. Ollie Watkins gives chase. Lenny Yoro should be favourite, and he is. Did the ball go out of play? I don't think so. That is the half-time whistle at Old Trafford. Amad Diallo and Diogo Dalot having the best opportunities. Diallo very close with the header. Good save from Emi Martinez, but Diogo Dalot had to score there. Brilliant pick out from deep. The first touch fell on his weaker left foot. He tried to get that on target. Lashes at it way over the crossbar. Huge let off there for Aston Villa. For Villa, attacking-wise, they've had some decent opportunities. But in terms of making Lamens have any saves, they've had absolutely none. They've been blunt going forward. We've seen very little of Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins. Emi Buendia, Amadou Onana and Ross Barkley in midfield have certainly played their part. You expect a little bit better from John McGinn as well. But from Manchester United's point of view, defensively, they've been very solid. Harry Maguire and Lenny Yoro looking good out there. Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot experienced in fullback positions. Casemiro, in terms of reading the play, he's been bypassed on a couple of occasions where a lot of space has been emerging in those central areas. Him and Kobbie Mainoo, not the most mobile of midfield pivots, but they do have that quality on the ball that's allowed Manchester United to be further up the pitch. Up front, Mbeumo, it's been a hot and cold first half from him. The same can be said about Mateus Cunha. With Benjamin Šeško on the bench, it just feels like just a matter of time before the Slovenian takes the pitch here at Old Trafford. Half time at Old Trafford, it's 0-0, and I'll be back for the second half. We're maybe a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. I'm back. And I'm hoping the second half in terms of a footballing watch is better, because that first half was really lacking quality. I mean, Aston Villa have created barely anything. They've gotten into decent positions, but nothing really in terms of threatening San Lamens in goal. United, their two chances fell, one to an Ahmad header and one to Diogo Dalot, of all people, on his weaker left foot, where he swung it horribly over the crossbar. But other than that, there's been a real quality in terms of attacking depth. Manchester United fans must be screaming for Benjamin Šeško to be on the pitch here. They've put in some excellent crosses into the box, but with no Šeško on the pitch, it's been a complete waste, and that be something that we expect in the second half to change. Well, it's been a Premier League weekend where Arsenal gained further ground on Manchester City. This is pretty much wrapped up with 8 Premier League games to go. That game at the Etihad Stadium does not have the weight anymore that it possibly could have if City kept their winning run going and put the pressure on Arsenal. But a 1-1 draw at the London Olympic Stadium means that Arsenal have pretty much one hand on the trophy, and considering their side of the draw in the Champions League, it looks like they'll be making a deep run there as well. A final in the Carabao Cup, potential semi-finals in the FA Cup. This could be a season where Arsenal clean up. They have been starved of major trophies, and they might end up hitting the lottery this season. Still a lot of football to go. Many things can happen, but Arsenal fans will feel that they're in the best possible situation that they have been in well over 20 years. This is a side that Mikel Arteta has built in his own mold. He's gone for defensive solidity, powers, moved completely away from the principles that made Arsene Wenger the cult hero, the players, the worship of Arsenal fans. He's gone away from that. Arsenal are a physical, solid, defensive first team. They're all about physicality, set pieces, making things as uncomfortable as possible. And we've heard this before, right? That Mikel Arteta is more closer to Jose Mourinho than he is to Arsene Wenger. That is something that might just bother Arsenal fans, but if they do manage to pick up major silverware this season, they will not care. But for the second half, we need better. Simply put, Aston Villa, in terms of changes, can make a few. They do have Tammy Abraham, Leon Bailey on the bench. For Manchester United, Mason Mount and Benjamin Šeško, the clear options for Michael Carrick. John McGinn found himself in decent position. His deliveries have been well below his standards in the first half. The second half can only be improved from that nightmare 45 minutes in terms of a watch. I'm hoping that either one of these teams manage to pick up a victory here. A draw does not help Chelsea. Well, Michael Carrick seems to have rolled the same team out for the start of the second half. In terms of relentless creativity, it was certainly not there. Bruno Fernandes well off the boil. 14 assists and 7 Premier League goals for their star Portuguese man. John McGinn, will he be the difference maker with his wand of a left foot? Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo in cahoots there. Trying to figure out how they're going to try and beat the Aston Villa midfield here. But the stage is set for a big 45 minutes in the context of nearly 4 clubs. Their season pretty much hinges on every result, not just their own, but results like this could play a huge part. A massive 45 minutes at Old Trafford coming up. Bruno Fernandes once again looking to drag his team to Champions League positions. Performances needed from the skipper. Brian Mbeumo, completely off the boil, playing as the false number 9. And we're off and running for the start of the second half. Manchester United and Aston Villa played out a pretty drab 0-0 first half. Expecting a lot better from both teams. Unai Emery not having enough time really prepare for this game. While Manchester United, 11-day gap between their two games. Their defeat to Newcastle United was the beginning of March. Chance here for Manchester United with yet another cross into the box. They will keep crossing it by the looks of it as Fernandes finds Luke Shaw. First time ball in is cleared away off balance. Manchester United start the second half nicely here. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes surveying his options. Amad Diallo comes short on his left foot. Fernandes tries to quicken the tempo. Diallo again for Dalot on the right hand side. Dalot with the Trivela cross of all things. I mean, that is outrageous, trying to emulate his countryman Ricardo Quaresma. Here's Fernandes finding Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo, ball into the box. It's cleared away quite comfortably. United looking for a bit of cutting edge just outside the Aston Villa box. Aston Villa's point of view. Again, their bench. They've got Douglas Luiz, Leon Bailey and Tammy Abraham has viable options. Ross Barkley, surprisingly, in the opening 45 minutes, wasn't really threatened or ran past on too many occasions. Here's Harry Maguire finding Luke Shaw. Mateus Cunha put in that cracking cross into the box on his weaker left foot after creating that bit of separation away from Bogard. Here's Cunha looking to play the 1-2. Luke Shaw trying to survey his options. Fernandes keeps it short. Kobbie Mainoo looks up and looks to switch the play out. Luca Dean should be favourite. He wins the first header, but it falls to Bryan Mbeumo. It's Bryan Mbeumo. Great first touch by Amad Diallo. It's over the crossbar again. Another weaker right foot shot there from Amad Diallo. Again, Luca Dean wins the first header. Bryan Mbeumo's like a flash onto it. And Diallo, having gotten there, a bit of space. It's his weaker right foot that he decides to have a swing at. Decent start here from Manchester United in the second half. Looking to play with a lot more directness. Emi Martinez puts Barkley under a bit of pressure. Aston Villa trying to build out the back. They successfully do so. That is a clever back heel. Ross Barkley of old would have sprinted forward, but he does not have the pace or the legs, that's for sure. John McGinn. He gets the ball, but it seems that it might have hit Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor taking up good midfield positions. Haven't been any challenges or tackles in this match either, has it? It's like both teams have kept their jerseys clean. Only yellow card in the match was Ollie Watkins, but that was only because he played on after the offside flag was raised by the linesman. Other than that, only Lenny Yoro's pretty much slid in and made a challenge. It's really lacked that intensity. Here's Cunha trying to get around Bogard. Bogard is very strong. Right back has had a very good game. Here's Morgan Rogers. Again, very surprising that Rogers is playing on the right-hand side, considering he's a cut-in and shoot kind of player. And Mbeumo gets bullied off the ball. Tyrone Mings finds Luca Dean. Ollie Watkins is not going to get that foul there against Lenny Yoro. Clever flick there by Casemiro. Plays the 1-2. Ross Barkley in position. Clears that away. He wants the foul. He's not going to get it. Throw in for Manchester United. Good understanding there from Ross Barkley. Understanding that Manchester United were looking to play through the central areas. Here's Casemiro again. Good pinch there from Watkins trying to get away. And this might work in Villa's favour. Harry Maguire in the right position there, just mops up. But Lenny Yoro went lunging in. It was a risky decision there from the young Frenchman. Quality has to improve, that's for sure. The quality must improve. Here's Maguire. Finds Kobbie Mainoo. Bruno Fernandes, and Mbeumo's made the run forward, but Fernandes shifts it on to the right-hand side to Amad Diallo instead. Diallo's up against Dina and Buendia. Fernandes on the outside to Diallo. It's Bruno Fernandes takes the strike, deflection. It's a corner for Manchester United. 5 minutes into the second half, it's been all United. Aston Villa have barely gotten out of their own half here. United pinning the villains in their own box. Bruno Fernandes searching for his 15th assist this Premier League campaign. United have had 5 corners in the match. Villa just the 1, which is a real poor delivery by John McGinn. United looking to break this game open via a set piece as Bruno Fernandes delivers this ball into the box. Brilliant delivery. What a defensive header that is. And Cunha pulls a shot wide. Mateus Cunha trying the outrageous from distance. Bruno Fernandes' delivery has a devilish whip on it. So difficult as a goalkeeper. You're just hoping that your centre half gets his head to it first. Tyrone Mings, to his credit, did that. Cunha from distance, well wide. Martinez doesn't decide to play out the back. Aston Villa just trying to play route one football, but they can't keep hold of the ball whatsoever. A change in midfield is paramount from my point of view. Especially bringing on someone like Douglas Luiz just to get a bit of control in midfield. They give it away very needlessly there. Morgan Rogers guilty of giving it away. And now Fernandes finds Brian Mbeumo. Very good save. Emi Martinez. Again, that is so poor there from Morgan Rogers, and he doesn't even sprint back. That is terrible from the number 10. And from there, Bruno Fernandes immediately feeds Brian Mbeumo on his favoured left foot. One touch to get it out of his feet. And then looks to just rifle that into the top corner. Sharp save there by the Argentine. Another corner for United. It's their 6th corner. It's been all Manchester United in the second half. Corner comes in, flick on header, and it is 1-0. It is Casemiro again. 7 Premier League goals for the Brazilian. United get the lead at Old Trafford. Considering the start that they've had in the second half, they have thoroughly deserved it. Villa have not gotten out of the change room yet, and they have been punished. Seven Premier League goals for Casemiro. That combination between him and Bruno Fernandes works again. Bruno Fernandes with his 15th assist. 1-5. That is an outrageous tally for Bruno Fernandes, even by his standards, as once again he breaks the game open with a set piece. Casemiro's farewell tour is going just as planned. He is such a threat in the box. This is put on the money, this by Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro makes the near post run. Just needs a flick on it. He's got the pace. All he needs to direct it, and he does that expertly. Again, I never understand this one. Please, someone explain to me, why is Ross Barkley taking charge of Casemiro in the box? He is United's biggest aerial threat by far, and you let Ross Barkley, of all people, try and follow him. It baffles me. United get the lead, and they'll feel it's thoroughly warranted. Well, as it stands, Manchester United 6 points clear of Chelsea. It is not ideal considering Manchester United still have to come to Stamford Bridge. Villa looking for an immediate response. Morgan Rogers. Again, such a poor decision by Morgan Rogers. Rogers is checked out fully in this match. I think Leon Bailey must come on as quickly as possible, especially with that left footer on the right hand side. Such a better dynamic. Rogers on that right hand side, wasted. They are trying to play with the midfield 3 here, Aston Villa. Bogard might get the foul here. Linesman happy for play to continue. Mainu makes the challenge. Can he keep the ball in play? He can't. It's a throw in for Aston Villa. John McGinn tries to take that on the run. Bogard with the challenge. Again, Anthony Taylor is happy with the challenges flying around. Here's Luca Dean. Better response this from Aston Villa. Cross comes in. Onana heads it back into the danger area. Cleared away there by Casemiro. Look at Casemiro, man, in both boxes. Absolutely brilliant. It's Villa now putting the pressure. United can't get out. Barkley, clever touch there by Onana. Cut back here for John McGinn. He takes an extra touch. which is just enough for Diogo Dalot to make the clearance. Oh, they give the ball away shockingly here. That's certainly a foul, ref. Come on. Edge of the box. That is needless there from Casemiro, who he goes to ground for no reason whatsoever. Morgan Rogers tries to fire that. It was a criminal giveaway from there. That is a cynical challenge. I mean, Morgan Rogers goes down very late, right? But that's a clear foul if you've ever seen one. I mean, it's a dive from Morgan Rogers. But it's a foul before that. I mean, the ref should have... He didn't need to dive, basically, but he did that just as insurance. Villa have a free kick in a decent position. It's not dead center. Might favour the left foot of Luca Dean. Emi Buendia might just pull rank here as the attacker and the number 10. San Lamins has had absolutely nothing to do in goal. Will be called into action if one of these players can get this on target. Villa lining up a wall ahead of the Manchester United wall. This is a very interesting tactic. Expecting them to split as Luca Dean has placed this. Might be favourite to take it. Long way out here. It's Buendia. The wall does its job. Corner for Villa. Pretty anticlimactic end there. I think it really did favour the left foot of Luca Dean because it needed the curl away from goal before it got back in. Buendia had that kind of distance to get the curler this way. Much difficult skill. Casemiro has been all over the pitch, man. Making tackles, committing fouls, scoring goals, trying to pick the passes to unlock the defense as Luca Dean's corner is well defended by Harry Maguire. Here's Bogard. Finds Ezri Konsa. Konsa thought about the cross, but he does on his left foot. He's travelled a long way. Luca Dean puts it first time. Onana tries to bring that under control. Manchester United defend that well enough. Villa have finally woken up, man. It took a Manchester United goal, but they're finally playing some football here at Old Trafford. Here's Ezri Konsa. And the response, the substitutions from Unai Emery will be very important, that's for sure. And Tammy Abraham, certainly a viable option. Has scored just the one goal since joining from, what is that, Fenerbahce? Or was it Beşiktaş? One of the Turkish clubs. Of course, he was an ex-Aston Villa player when Villa were in the Championship. They played the 1-2. That's another foul. This time, surely Casemiro gets a yellow card. Casemiro made a couple of challenges in the first half. Got away with this one. He's made two in very quick time. Again, in the central areas, Villa played very quickly. Casemiro's late to it. It's another clattering challenge on Morgan Rogers. Already seen that before. And he's very late to it. Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro just sandwiching Morgan Rogers on that occasion. It's a free kick for Villa. The double substitution right on cue. Tammy Abraham and Leon Bailey coming on. As we look at the table as it stands with 30 games played, United in third, 54 points and a plus 12 goal difference. Villa in fourth, 3 points behind Chelsea and Liverpool. And if Liverpool win today, they will look to try and leapfrog Aston Villa as Villa will be dragged down. And Villa are going through a really rough patch now. Well, certainly an injection of pace and directness here from Unai Emery. If you remember, Tammy Abraham, well, in 2019, Tammy Abraham made his Premier League debut at this very ground when Frank Lampard was the manager. He was our number 9 on that occasion. Chelsea lost 4-0, but it was an encouraging performance as John McGinn floats the ball into the box, finds Tyrone Mings, who can't direct his header like Casemiro did. United survive. Better delivery there from John McGinn. Left-footed ball in. Very difficult to defend. Mings needs to try and just get that on target. Gets the beating of Harry Maguire. Well, the double substitution has been coming. And right on the 60-minute mark, Ollie Watkins replaced by Tammy Abraham. And it's not Morgan Rogers coming off, it is John McGinn, which means that captain's armband will be passed on to either Mings or Konza, and Leon Bailey now will be on the right-hand side. Which means now finally Morgan Rogers can possibly play on the left with Buendia as the number 10. Better balance maybe from this setup. Setup is so crucial, and I think Morgan Rogers was wasted on that right-hand side. He had absolutely no joy, and when he cuts in on his left foot, there's nothing much in it. Decent delivery there, King, from John McGinn, that's for sure. The header from Mings, just need to direct that on target. It's a difficult one over his shoulder. Had to really crank his neck to get any sort of decent contact on it. But under half an hour remaining at Old Trafford, Aston Villa searching for the equaliser. They could go from 4th to 5th, and Chelsea slipping to 6th if Liverpool beat Tottenham Hotspur at Anfield. Kobbie Mainoo shakes and bakes to get away from the challenge. Amad Diallo forced to go backwards. Clever nutmeg. Great ball retention there from Amad Diallo. Put under serious pressure. Almost running towards goal. His own goal, that is. Any Euro. Finding Brian Mbeumo. Mbeumo is now playing as a touchline winger on the right-hand side. Oh, what a pass that is. Diallo gets his header. It's a looping header. What a first-time ball that was. Diogo Dalot's anticipation and ability to get into the box at the end of these crosses has been really good, but his finishing has really let him down. Fortunately, it comes off his shoulder. A clever clip pass. Tyrone Mings needs to keep a closer eye on the Portuguese right back. Ross Barkley is still on the pitch. That means that Unai Emery is clearly happy with his midfield pivot. Amadou Onana and Ross Barkley. It certainly was a weird one. Very interesting there from Diogo Dalot, but fair play to him for getting into the right positions, man. Again, the Villa defenders will be concerned about Fernandes, Mbeumo, Cunha, Diallo, and someone like Diogo Dalot slips in. What a first touch that is. Magnificent play. Space opens up in the central areas for Aston Villa. Buendia finds Tammy Abraham. He could have shot. Instead, he feeds it back. Cross comes into the box. Leon Bailey brings that under control. Onana on the slip. Chance here. Onana. Good save by Lamens. Aston Villa nearly get the equaliser as Onana breaks into the box. And if Aston Villa need the comeback here, King, they certainly need a goal as quickly as possible. What a touch that was. I think that was Morgan Rogers. Outrageous touch as Buendia feeds it. Abraham could have shot, but Harry Maguire was coming across. This clip ball in by Luca Dean, creating a bit of panic. Onana gets back onto his feet quick enough. Just tries to direct that on goal. Lamens having a comfortable enough save to just tip that over the crossbar for a corner. First save that Son Lamens had to make in goal. And we're well past the hour mark at Old Trafford. Leon Bailey, who's just been on the pitch. That's a disappointing corner. Nearly broke for Bogard. Might have come off the arm of Tyrone Mings. That certainly will be checked if Villa do prosper from it. Ball in by Bailey. It's cleared away. Attack still goes. Chance here. On the left foot it is. 1-1. Will this be pulled back for the left hand? It's Ross Barkley of all people who has the equaliser. Now look, one of the efforts before the goal, Tyrone Mings, it came off his arm. Now will this be pulled back? I'm not sure. It's a terrific finish by Ross Barkley on his weaker left foot. No time to react. Finds it into the corner. Aston Villa have the equaliser, but this will be checked. Now this was the attack. Now whether that's come off the arm, we don't know. We need a... Oh, they're going to have to zoom this in closer because he's fair play to Tyrone Mings. Onana might be offside as well. Is he interfering the path of San Lamens? There's no real complaint for anybody there. This could be chalked off for multiple reasons here. This is possibly blocking the path of Lamens. This angle would be a better one. Well, Lamens gets a clear look at it. It's not that he has not seen it. It's not like Amadou Onana standing right in front of him. He has seen where that has gone, and he is powerless to stop it. This should be the equaliser. This should stand. But again, Tyrone Mings, does that come off his arm here? Now look, if it's taken a touch of Onana, this will be offside. Oh, Onana does so well. He's a 6-foot man, nearly limboing to get out of the way. I don't think it's taken a touch. It might have just come off his shorts. This would be an incredibly... I mean, they're literally zooming into his ass, man. What is this? That is not taking a touch. There's no deflection on it. That's a pure strike by Ross Barkley. That is not taking a touch. That angle was clear enough. With the deflection, there would be a swift movement, especially from that close out, right? United will feel that they should see this goal disallowed. This should stand. And the goal stands. Aston Villa do have the equaliser at Old Trafford. Ross Barkley in 2026 has an equaliser, helping Chelsea out in some way, some form. And it is now game on. Well, that's the thing, right, King? It's possibly come off Onana. It could have been, but it's not a touch, because if it had taken a deflection, there would have been like a quick movement, a quick trajectory change, if you know what I mean. It just went straight and through. And after Manchester United scored from a corner, Ross Barkley finding the equaliser. It might have caught Onana on his shorts at the best. Not enough to rule that out for offside. Aston Villa will have a spring in their step now. They have made the two changes as well. Tammy Abraham and Leon Bailey coming on. From Aston Villa's point of view, they get the equaliser quickly enough. Well, only after Manchester United scored, Aston Villa truly woke up in this match. They've been much better. Son Lamens having to make a save of Onana. Now Aston Villa starting to pop the ball a lot more comfortably and confidently as Tyrone Mings ventures forward. Casemiro has to be careful because he's on a yellow card. He's lost out here for Morgan Rogers. He's going straight through. It's to Leon Bailey. Leon Bailey on the outside. Cut back. Chance for Tammy Abraham. He can't adjust his feet nor bring that under control. Abraham has to bring this under control immediately and get his shot away. Morgan Rogers does well. The Villa comeback is certainly on here, King. That touch is so poor from Abraham. Really, really poor. Tammy Abraham having the opportunity to make the immediate impact. It would be both substitutes making the impact. It was Leon Bailey down the right-hand side who's got the pace. He could very easily be a track runner. That's how quick he is. Bruno Fernandes carelessly gives the ball away. Here's Ross Barkley. Morgan Rogers tries to slip him through. Well defended. And Mbeumo. Manchester United fans, I'm sure, would have been crying out for Benjamin Šeško at half-time. We're approaching the 70-minute mark. Šeško is still on the bench. It's Aston Villa who have made the moves. Nearly tried to squeeze the pass forward onto the right-hand side. Manchester United will have to go again, especially in open play. It's been Diogo Dalot, of all people, who's been finding space and getting shots away. And United trying to slow the pace down. Someone's getting a yellow card here. I think it is for Emi Buendia by the looks of it. Not really sure as to why. Something clearly off the ball. Bruno Fernandes making sure that his point is put across to Anthony Taylor. Might be another yellow card in the match here, and it is to Buendia. Well, Watkins had picked up a yellow card. Now Emi Buendia does. Watkins is no longer in the pitch. Again, Aston Villa have to make sure that they cut the set pieces down to a bare minimum. Manchester United clearly using aerial threat as their biggest weapon as Bruno Fernandes fades this towards Cunha. Beautiful first touch on the chest. Cross comes in. It's cleared away. If they're going to continue crossing, Šeško needs to be on the pitch. It's as simple as that. Luka Dean just hammers that forward. Could you elaborate, King? What for, though? I'm not really sure as to what you mean regarding that, what you're trying to reference to, do let me know. Happy to clear that out. Here's Amad Diallo. He's certainly looking to go on the ground here. Anthony Taylor. Let's play continue. Bruno Fernandes, that's a clever pass. Tyrone Mings does very well. Oh, Morgan Rogers, that is so composed. And Villa play out the Manchester United press. That was heart and mouth moment there by Morgan Rogers. Here's Leon Bailey. That is a terrible pass. Easy for Lenny Yoro. Under 20 minutes of normal time remaining here at Old Trafford. Poor pass, man. Such a poor pass. This is a very good pass for Matheus Cunha, and Manchester United regain the lead. Cunha finds the bottom corner. Well, the second half has burst into life. 3 goals in very quick time. Matheus Cunha finds the corner. It's been the Brazilian show for United, and Manchester United regain the lead. What a pass to open up the Aston Villa defense. Weighted to perfection, and Cunha does the rest. Well, Matheus Cunha has had a 50-50 game at best. But that pass to unlock the Aston Villa defense really was a thing of beauty. It all comes from that poor pass there by Leon Bailey. And from there, they're in business. This from Bruno Fernandes is special. That is 15 assists in the Premier League for Bruno Fernandes. The captain steps up once again. It's weighted to perfection. Cunha can take the touch, just open it up on his right boot. That's an expert finish. Casemiro to Bruno to Matheus Cunha. 2-1 to United. Great goal. Great goal. What's up, Mr. Kashish Paul? I'm not going to say it the way you want me to say it, but after City dropped points inexplicably to West Ham United last night, Arsenal have one hand on the Premier League trophy. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for tuning in, bro. United, having regained the lead, we look to this time preserve it. Villa have to go again. Again, this is a result that means that United will be 6 points clear of Chelsea, temporarily 6 points clear of Liverpool as well, but Spurs travel to Anfield soon after this game, and I'm expecting Spurs to fold and Liverpool to get all 3 points. Spurs have been a nightmare team under Igor Tudor. Kashish, kaisa laga mera mazak? On the right hand side, yeah, okay, that was all about the pass. The Bruno Fernandes pass was special, man. That's 2 assists for Bruno Fernandes. 15 assists in the Premier League for Bruno Fernandes to go alongside his 7 Premier League goals. Outrageous production from a man in his 30s, still going strong. Again, it was Aston Villa on the break, man. I mean, Tammy Abraham and Lenny Yoro get into a tangle. Tammy Abraham doesn't get the foul. Play continues. Buendia, was it Buendia or Leon Bailey, just gave the ball away. And then from that very same attack, Manchester United punish Villa. Well, Villa's nightmare run will continue. It's going to be 1 win and 6 for Unai Emery's men, and it will be 3 wins, 3 losses on the trot. 2-0 loss to Wolves at Molineux, 4-1 loss to Chelsea at Villa Park, and now as it stands, 2-1 down to Manchester United at Old Trafford. It's a nightmare period for Unai Emery's men, who do have European commitments with the Europa League, but in the Premier League they are sinking like a lead balloon. Well, Manchester United, having gotten their noses in front, will bring on their second top scorer in Benjamin Šeško, who's had a fantastic time as super sub under Michael Carrick. Looking to come on and give that cushion goal for Manchester United to secure all 3 points. United in the second half have certainly deserved it from this performance. In the first half, they did create the better opportunity. Diogo Dalot on his left foot skied over, and then they had that Amad Diallo chance with the header. Martinez making a save. Aston Villa, for that 10-minute period after Manchester United scored, finally woke up and played some football. But United get the second goal that they were looking for as Brian Mbeumo makes his way off the pitch at the near side, and Benjamin Šeško, the Slovenian, will replace the Cameroonian. 75 minutes on the clock here. Manchester United looking to get the job done yet again. They have been flawless at Old Trafford under Michael Carrick in the Premier League. Benjamin Šeško now looking for more goals as a super sub. Ryan Mbeumo soaks in the applause from the Old Trafford faithful as he takes the long walk around. I would say a 5 on 10 for Mbeumo. Maybe even 6 because Manchester United are winning. Wasn't his influential game. He had that great strike on his left foot that was saved well by Emi Martinez. But other than that, you really fail to see too much impact being made. As Cunha, his pass gets intercepted. Both Brazilians on 7 Premier League goals. Now they're going band for band. Incredible there by Cunha and Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes commits the foul on Tyrone Mings. But Manchester United can certainly have to go for the third. They're not a team that can keep possession and kill time. They're simply not that team. They rely on quick transitions, set pieces, balls over the top, transition play. And now they'll be relying on, crosses into the box now that Benjamin Šeško is on the pitch. United have to go for the third. The door is still open for Aston Villa. Despite playing poorly, they're still in the game. All they need is one chance, something to come out of the blue. Bruno Fernandes checking out his 2 assists. The first one, a lovely floated in corner. The second one, a thing of beauty. First time ball in, weighted to perfection. And then Cunha doing the rest. Bruno Fernandes with that aura, almost like, you know what I do. Well, United nearly there. Almost had to do it the hard way in the second half. Range of emotions, topsy-turvy. Aston Villa and Unai Emery. Really is now or never. In terms of the form table, it's not looking good for Chelsea and Aston Villa. I think Chelsea have 2 wins in 6. Aston Villa have 1 win in 6. These are not good numbers for teams having Champions League aspirations for next season. Here's Luka Dean. Ross Barkley got the equalizer. Didn't last for too long as Bogard on the right hand side finds Leon Bailey. Bailey keeps it short for Bogard. There's Ezri Konsa. United sitting back here. And United in a deep block, especially with Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, who are good defenders in a deep block. Could work for them as one way to try and close the result. Here's Onana. Finding Konsa, Mings, both Aston Villa centre-halves high up the pitch. United on the counter-attack, if they can pinch the ball here, could mean business. Benjamin Šeško with fresh legs, searching for his 9th Premier League goal. Here's Bogard. Finds Amadou Onana. Manchester United gaining further ground on Chelsea as it stands. After both Chelsea won the game against Aston Villa and Manchester United lost to Newcastle United. Tables have turned. Tables have literally turned. Here's Onana. Bailey off balance, but somehow looks to squeeze the pass there. Morgan Rogers. Well, Unai Emery, with a scratch of the chin, he'll be knowing that his team do find themselves in a tricky position. Well, he timed his substitutions very well, didn't he? Because they got the equalizer and they had fresh legs on the pitch. Bruno Fernandes unlocking them with that pass just meant that Aston Villa will have to almost tweak their tactics here and try and go for broke. Have to throw the kitchen sink at Manchester United. If United scored the third, this would be game over. Here's Matheus Cunha. I think if Manchester United get the third, we might just see Mason Mount on the pitch as well, because the Englishman once again suffering yet another injury. Cannot catch a break, the Chelsea player. Good pass between the lines. United work it well. Fernandes. Finding Casemiro. Goes for the big switch out. Cunha does well. Bogart gets caught here. Here's the goal scorer. Cunha looks to lay it on a plate for Benjamin Sesko. And he gets the goal off the bench. That's the insurance goal. Sesko scores again. He cannot stop scoring off the bench. Manchester United blitz Aston Villa in the second half. Sesko gets a touch of fortune, took a deflection. He won't care. 9 Premier League goals for the Slovenian, and it's job done. Manchester United are this close to securing Champions League football for next season. 6 points clear of Chelsea. United in a great position now. Well, the insurance goal arrives. Matheus Cunha did very well. Bogart gets caught, and from there they're in real trouble. The ball ricochets very kindly, but Sesko on the spin. Well, is Diogo Dalot blocking the path of Emi Martinez? This angle will tell us better. Again, he sees it, but Martinez is powerless. He's gone down. It's taken a wicked deflection of Tyrone Mings. There's nothing Martinez can do about it. It's game, set and match. Well, Michael Carrick continues. Well, Michael Carrick continues his perfect run at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Manchester United have scored 3 very quick goals in the second half. Aston Villa had a brief period of hope after they equalised courtesy of Ross Barkley, but Manchester United have been clinical in front of goal. Matheus Cunha second, and then Benjamin Sesko minutes after coming on. Getting his 9th Premier League goal means that Manchester United securing the points here at Old Trafford, and this record continues. It's 3-1 here. I'm out of here. I was hoping that this game would have something about it in terms of a close encounter. It was for a bit in the first half, a brief period in the second, and now to watch Manchester United stroll for the next 7 or 8 minutes does not interest me whatsoever. Douglas Luiz delivers. Corner comes in. Chance on the far stick for Leon Bailey. I'm going to give it another 3 minutes before I turn off the stream, that's for sure. That should be enough time for Manchester United to possibly score a 4th. Are Villa going to concede 4 goals in back-to-back Premier League games against Champions League aspirants? Chelsea hit them for 4 at Villa Park. United have 3 with 7 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Here's Lenny Yoro. Looks to find Benjamin Sesko. Again, trying to venture forward. Shifts it onto the right-hand side. Aston Villa trying to get a free kick. They do. Luke Shaw commits a needless foul there on the Jamaican. Aston Villa need to get a goal in the next 90 seconds. Else I'm pretty much off the stream here. I have no interest watching Manchester United stroll around the park with a 3-1 lead. Yet again continuing their terrific run at Old Trafford. I mean, the home form, the difference in home form between Manchester United since Michael Carrick took over and Liam Rossini since he took over at Chelsea has been stark. And Benjamin Sesko's through on goal here. It could be a swift brace. Oh, that's a terrible effort there by the Slovenian. What is he doing there? Is he gone for the pass? I mean, Fernandez is asking the question. Bury it. It's a magnificent play, this. Casemiro to Fernandez. Fernandez on his left foot sends Sesko through. Ahmad wants the ball played forward. Sesko does the unselfish thing. Could have very easily been 4. Sesko needs to go there and smash that into the back of the net and get his 10th Premier League goal. Instead he goes for the unselfish route. Aston Villa still in the game just about, but from a spectacle point of view, this is done. Buendia has gone down as well. Aston Villa's resistance did not last too long. Well, I needed one team to win here today. I was hoping that would be Aston Villa, considering Chelsea have to play Manchester United at Stamford Bridge, and we could possibly close the gap. But now United have a 6-point gap from Chelsea. They have pretty much secured Champions League football from next season, and considering nothing's really happening in the match here, and that's why I said, considering what Ruben Amorim was serving at Manchester United week in, week out, hope completely bereft at Old Trafford, Michael Carrick has truly turned things around here. They are favourites to pretty much land a Champions League spot, and now it's all about getting it done, especially with one game a week. This is all for Manchester United to lose from their point of view. Bruno Fernandes all over the pitch. He's been man of the match. First class performance from the skipper. 2 assists for him. Could have been more.